again, everyone. Welcome back to the Math Office. In this video, we're going to take a look at least common multiples, talk about what they are, and we're going to look at a couple of quick examples. So let's take a look. So we're going to take a look at least common multiples. First, we're going to talk real quickly about what they are, and then we'll give you a couple of examples to work through. So least common multiple. For our purposes here, a multiple of a number is the result of multiplying that number by any positive number. So in other words, here's an example. Multiples of 3, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, so on and so forth. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, so on and so forth. Just keep counting by 3. A common multiple is a number that is a multiple of 2 or more different numbers. So we're looking at 2 different numbers that share the same multiples. So multiples of 4, for example, here's a list of multiples of 4 up to 40. Here's a list of multiples of 6. Now, if you look at both lists, you can see that there are numbers that show up on both lists. So common multiples of 4 and 6 are 12 and 24 and 36, and we could come up with more if we kept going on, but there's not enough room on the screen. So here are a few examples of common multiples. Now, the least common multiple, or the LCM for short, is the smallest common multiple of 2 or more numbers. So in the example above, the least common multiple of 4 and 6 is 12, because that's the smallest of the common multiples. So now that we have the definition of least common multiples out of the way, let's do a simple example. Find the least common multiple of 15 and 21. Now there's not really one quick method to doing this. Basically what you want to do is list out the multiples of each number until you find something that matches. So we're going to list out the multiples of 15 and list out the multiples of 21. So usually it helps to list a few at a time, so you don't have to do an unnecessary amount of work. But you should find after you list several multiples that the least common multiple appears to be 105. That is the first number that shows up on both lists. So the least common multiple of 15 and 21 is 105. Here's another example. Now we're going to throw a third number into the mix. So you want to find the least common multiple of 3, 5, and 6. It's pretty much the same method. You want to list the multiples of all 3 numbers. This time you want to look for the first multiple that appears on all 3 lists. So we're going to look at the multiples of 3 and 5 and 6 here. And just a couple of comments as the list comes up here. Notice that on the lists of 3 and 6, you have 6 showing up, you have 12 showing up on those lists, but we can't say those are common multiples because we are also considering 5. So the first number that shows up on all 3 lists is 30. So in this case, we're going to say that the least common multiple of 3, 5, and 6 is 30. Again, that's because 30 is the first number that shows up on all 3 lists, not just 2 of them. So those last 2 examples were pretty basic. Now let's take a look at an example where we're going to use least common multiples in a real-world type scenario. So in this problem, Greg works out at the gym every 3 days. Dana works out at the same gym every 5 days. The question is, how many times will Greg and Dana both be at the gym at the same time over a period of 100 days? So what we want to do here is find the least common multiple of 3 and 5 to figure out how often Greg and Dana are both at the gym. So again, the method is to just list out multiples of 3, multiples of 5. It shouldn't take too long. In fact, you should find right away that the least common multiple of 3 and 5 is 15. So what does this mean? This means that Greg and Dana are both at the gym every 15 days. Now, the question is, how many times over a period of 100 days will they both be at the gym together? Find all multiples of 15 less than 100 to figure this out. So now let's list the multiples of 15. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, and 90. If we were to go on, we would have 105 as our next multiple, but we're looking for the multiples that are less than 100. So now that we have the multiples of 15 that are less than 100, all we have to do is just count them up. So there are 6 of these multiples. That means that Greg and Dana both are at the gym 6 times in a period of 100 days. All right, well, hopefully you know a little bit more about least common multiples now. If you need any other help with math, please check out some of my other videos. Subscribe to my channel. Please tell your friends about this channel as well. Until then, hope you guys have a great day and good luck with your math.